I told my wife the lock on my daughter's door does not get removed till my brother-in-law and his daughters are out of our house. My wife's brother Jake moved in with his 2 teenage daughters after his divorce last year. At first I was totally fine with it. Family helps family, and our spare bedroom was just sitting empty anyway. But within the first week, I knew something was off about his girls. Emma is 16 and Madison is 14, and they both have this weird habit of just walking into any room they want without knocking. I caught Emma going through my daughter Chloe's dresser on day 3, and when I asked what she was doing, she just shrugged and said she was looking for a phone charger. Madison got caught wearing Chloe's favorite hoodie to school and claimed she thought it was hers, even though it had Chloe's name embroidered on it. My daughter Chloe is 13, and she's always been this really trusting kid who wants everyone to like her. So when her cousins started taking her stuff and going through her things, she didn't want to make waves. She just quietly started moving her favorite clothes to the bottom of her dresser and hiding her jewelry in weird places. That should have been my first clue to step in, but I thought maybe they just needed time to adjust. Things got worse when I noticed Chloe's birthday money from her grandma went missing. She had $200 in an envelope in her desk drawer, and suddenly it was gone. When I asked Emma and Madison about it, they both acted shocked and suggested maybe Chloe lost it somewhere. Jake backed them up, saying his girls would never steal, and maybe we should check if Chloe spent it and forgot. But I knew my daughter. She's been saving that money for months to buy this art tablet she wanted. She wouldn't just lose track of $200. Then last week I came home early from work and heard crying coming from Chloe's room. I found her sitting on her bed holding her phone, and when I asked what was wrong, she showed me her Instagram. Someone had posted a bunch of photos from her account to some group chat making fun of her braces and calling her weird. The photos were ones she had never posted publicly. They were selfies she kept private on her phone. I immediately knew it had to be her cousins because they're the only ones who would have access to her stuff when she's not around. When I confronted them about it, Emma rolled her eyes and said maybe Chloe posted them herself for attention. Madison just stood there smirking like it was all some big joke. That night I told my wife we needed to put a lock on Chloe's door. She flipped out saying I was being paranoid and that it would hurt Jake's feelings if we didn't trust his daughters. She said family doesn't lock doors against family and I was overreacting to normal teenage drama, but I wasn't backing down. The next morning I went to Home Depot and bought a doorknob with a key lock. I installed it myself while everyone was out of the house and gave Chloe the only 2 keys. When Jake saw it that evening, he lost his mind. He started yelling about how I was treating his daughters like criminals and how dare I make them feel unwelcome in our house. My wife was standing behind him nodding along like I was the bad guy here. I looked him dead in the eye and said the lock stays until you and your daughters find somewhere else to live. He asked what that was supposed to mean, and I told him exactly what I meant. His daughters have been stealing from Chloe, going through her private stuff, and now they're cyberbullying her online. The lock doesn't come off until they're gone. My wife tried to jump in saying we never discussed kicking them out, but I was done discussing anything. I told her our 13-year-old daughter shouldn't have to hide her own belongings in her own room because her teenage cousins can't respect basic boundaries. Jake started going off about how I was splitting up the family and his daughters were good kids who made mistakes. I cut him off and said good kids don't steal money and post private photos to humiliate their younger cousin. Good kids apologize when they hurt someone instead of lying about it. The house has been tense as hell ever since. Emma and Madison keep testing the door handle when they think no one is looking, and Jake keeps making passive-aggressive comments about how some people don't understand family loyalty. My wife barely talks to me except to tell me I'm being unreasonable. But you know what? Chloe actually smiled at dinner last night for the first time in weeks. She knows her room is her safe space again, and nobody can just walk in and take her stuff or invade her privacy.